When I was 16, my whole world was turned upside down. I made one of the most horrific decisions in my life, and it cost me. I was charged with first-degree murder, armed robbery with a firearm, and sentenced to 2 natural life terms in prison without the possibility of parole. And I've served 31 years in prison. And my life has been a disaster. What's up, boy? It's JD with Redemption Kings. How y'all doing out there? Another episode. And you know what? It's still beautiful out here. Things are still going my way. I'm still rising, y'all. I'm still rising. And it's because of my decisions, absolutely. Based on the impression that I got in my heart. Redemption. But today, episode is, man, listen, quit playing and pay attention. Quit playing and pay attention. Man, it's so many people out here, especially in the chain gang, that's playing and not paying attention. And I'm gonna give you a few examples. Check it out. You know, I have a best friend, one of 2 of my bestest friends in prison. And you know, me and him made it our business to try to stay out of trouble. I kept him out of trouble, he kept me out of trouble. And we just worked it that way, because it was sometimes I wanted to get off, and it was sometimes he wanted to get off. But we both had a singular purpose: get out of prison. That was our goal. But check this out. It's some things that you just can't avoid. But you can avoid it if you just pay attention. See, in prison, it's quick and easy to understand the lay of the land. Because in prison, when you step up on the compound, you feel the heartbeat of the compound. People don't understand that. When you get on the compound, you know whether or not this compound is gritty and you can die there. Or you know that this compound is kind of laid back, the police is in control. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of safe. You got them type of vibes, you know? And then you just got some people that's just, you know, just out there. But anyway, yeah, if you get in these spots and you don't pay attention to the details of what's going on around you, you're gonna always get popped. You're gonna always fall astray, led astray, down roads that, man, most people can't come back from. And I face that every day in prison. One day, me and my partner was out on the rec yard working out. We hanging out, man. We in our thing. We got our, you know, we ain't got the MP4s and all this stuff that y'all, we had Sony Walkmans back then. And we used to have the wire hanging from my little, all in the air, trying to catch a station. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That was back in the 90s. And man, listen, man, me and my partner, but listen, a dude came out there and started arguing with another inmate. And so we said, okay, man, listen, we're going to do the correct thing and move along. So we did. Man, these dudes followed us. So I'm like, man, what the hell? So we said, okay, man, we're going to work out, but we're going to work out all the way across the field. We ain't going to stand, because this field is divided. You got Blood, Crips, Vice Lords, the compound. You got all kind of people out there. You got all kind of people out there. They all into their own thing. And everybody trying to navigate around everybody, but at the same time, keep that respect there. Yeah, that's what it was about. But on this particular day, these dudes, man, started pulling out knives. You know what I'm saying? They started swinging knives at each other and following me and my partner. So me and my dog said, man, listen, man, we finna get off this rec yard. Because after a while, things just gonna turn up. And guess what? Things turned up, man, at Cross City, CI. Absolutely. It was a lot of blood, a lot of stabbing, a lot of fighting, a lot of stuff going on. And man, listen, them officers did their job. They came out there and they locked that thing down. You hear me? They secured. You know, and listen, the captain came out there, he spoke to every last person that was left on that compound. looked them over, checked their nails, and made sure they ain't had no cuts or nothing on them. You know, but you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell y'all something. And I never thought about this until this moment. You know, the captain or the colonel at that time at the institution, you know, when I stepped up to him, because I had got stuck on the compound, on the rec yard, me and my partner. You know, we was ducking and dodging knives trying to get out the way. We got stuck on the compound, but we ain't had those scratches and scrapes. And if I did, you know, I was taking dirt, throwing it on me. Y'all don't know that trick. Take that dirt, throw it on you. You got to scratch, throw it. That's past tense though. But anyway, man, the colonel, when I stepped to him, he shook me down. He looked at me, he said, man, I know you ain't had nothing to do with this. You know, and I was like, absolutely not. I ain't got nothing to do with this. I'm trying to get in the door. He said, let this man out the gate and his friend. You know what that was? Man, listen, that was, you know, a person that talked to 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 a person that got in the colonel's ear. I was kind of a good dude. You feel me? That I was like, you know, I wasn't no troublemaker. You know, even with the size that I had and the threat that I could have been. You know what I'm saying? Because I knew I had it in me to do that. And sometime in the beginning of my sentence, I did until I changed. You know what I'm saying? I was getting warped and caught up in the vortex. I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't paying attention to the details of what was going on around me. And you know what? I've been out almost 5.5 months now. And it's a lot of people out here that's not paying attention to the details that's what's going on around them. They're just walking into walls and wondering what's going on. They're wondering what's going on, man. What's happening? Why is this happening to me? You know, it's a scripture a dude gave me. You know, it's in the Bible. I can't remember exactly where it's at. I think it's either Psalms or Proverbs, I know for sure. It says, guard your heart with all due diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life that you face every day. Flows the issues of life that you bring. We bring things to us because we don't pay attention. You know what I'm saying? It was a time when I was in prison and I was in an open bay dorm. And man, this dude kept throwing dirty looks at me. You know, and I'm looking at this dude like, man, do I know this dude from somewhere? Have I swung on him? You know what I'm saying? Cheated him? Whatever, you know? Is he somebody that don't like me? A kid? Is you know, whatever. Is anybody? You can wrong anybody in there. You don't know. Man, this dude kept throwing me 30 looks. So I'm like, man, what's up with this cat, man? This cat. You know, I couldn't sleep because I'm like, man, I'm not gonna go to sleep in this dorm and this dude looking at me crazy like that. Who would I be? Not a fool. Not I. Not JD from Redemption Kings. Absolutely not. So, you know, I stepped to the dude. I'm like, man, what's up? I'm like, man, why you looking at me like that, man? Do I know you? Do we got a problem? And he was like, no, man, you just looking at me like that. So I'm like, I was just looking at you like that. I said, man, I don't even know you. He said, I don't even know you neither. You know, but just me not paying attention to the people in this room and, you know, the communication that we have, not verbally, but bodily. You know what I'm saying? You got to be on that to survive and have an advantage in this society that we live in. You know what I'm saying? You got to take back your awareness because you're a redemption king. Yeah. See, it's my job to pour into those who think they got it and those who don't. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, your decisions put you on the level that you on, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here today. Because I want to be on the level that's respectable to my Father. And I'm going to do that. Absolutely. Every chance that I can get. Because I'm being reborn. I'm being redeemed. Every day into a king. Who can say that I ain't? Who can say that I ain't? Absolutely. But man, it's dudes in prison that have almost lost their life because they weren't paying attention. You know, it was dudes that, got on the gambling table. You know, you got some dudes that was huge, and then you got some dudes that was just real skinny. And you look at a dude and you size him up. Oh man, I can probably whoop this dude here. Don't know that this little skinny little dude here got a knife, a weapon this long. He got the short man syndrome. He ain't scared to use it. You know what I'm saying? And you get on that gambling table playing around and end up getting half your throat cut. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. See, you know what? I'm blessed. You know what? I'm blessed because even though I'm bald head and all that other stuff, man, you don't see no cuts or nothing on me. Very rarely, man, do you get a dude that come out the chain gang like that. See, my focus was making the best decision. Now, check this out. I ain't no saint. I'm trying to become one. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of bad decisions that I made in my life. You know what I'm saying? One of the worst decisions that I made one time was, and listen to me, man, taking another dude, old lady. And I ain't talking about no dude. I'm talking about another lady. You feel what I'm saying? This dude, his name was Pretty Boy. Check this out. This dude did not like me. I know he didn't. You know what I'm saying? And it was unfortunately that, two of the females that was chasing him ended up started chasing me. And he got a kind of envy because of that. And I knew it, you know what I'm saying? But, what can I do? It's two type of dudes that I think is in this world when it comes to that type of stuff. It's dudes that see the airplane falling out the sky into the waters, fire the plane, and they refuse to jump out. They gonna go down with the plane. They got a parachute and an ejection button right there. They see it's over, but they refuse to give it up. See, I'm not that type of dude. When I see flames on the plane, I'm listening. I ain't trying to put no water out on it. I'm jumping out the plane. That's how I am. Set, check, mate. You hear me? So, my bad was that I didn't pay attention to this dude named Pretty Boy. I done stole 2 of his females. And you know what? In future shows, I'm going to get into that for y'all. Because I know y'all want to hear that. But I done stole Pretty Boy females, and he hot. So my baby sister, the mare bear, bought me a Cuban link chain. It was a small, beautiful chain, and it was from my sister. And man, I kept that chain on my neck every day. And one day, I came from the kitchen where I worked there, and it was almost count time. And the people said, "Hurry, man, you got about 5 minutes to get in that shower and you can get in your dorm." So I hopped in the shower because I had food and stuff from food service on me. And when I hopped in the shower, I took my chain off and threw it under my pillow. I wasn't thinking about nothing. It wasn't nobody in the dormitory. Everybody was already heading to their cell because it was count time. And I'm in the shower by myself trying to hurry up and get this thing off so I can get in the cell before they close the door. You know what I'm saying? Because they gave me that favor to do that because they know where I just came from and I didn't want to be in my cell dirty. So I get back into my cell and, I get my lotion on. I get in prison, man. Listen, I don't know about y'all out here, but in prison, man, we ain't got a lot to do. So we got, fingernail files, we got lotion, all different type of deodorants, you know what I'm saying? Muslim oil, we got all kind of stuff up in there, man. We just experienced. I'm putting on my little lotions and all my little stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm jazzing myself up. You feel me? And man, I reach under my pillow to grab my chain and it's gone. I'm like, hold up. I'm like, man, hold up. You know what I'm saying? I ran back to the shower, looking there, seeing if I left it in there, and I didn't. So I'm like, man, my chain gone. Now listen, my bunkie at the time, his name Big Pooh. There's a Big Pooh about 6'5", 400 pounds. You know what I'm saying? He was in there laying there. I kicked the ball. Boom. I said, Big Pooh, where my chain at? Big Pooh said, I don't know where your chain at, man. I've been sleeping all the time. So I was like, all right. You know, I ain't really want no grease with homie, but I had to find out where that chain was at. You feel me? So I'm looking around. I'm like, man, where my chain at? I was hurt because the first thing I thought about was my little sister and the sacrifices that she made to buy me this chain. That's gone. You feel me? Y'all don't feel me. So a day go by. You know, I'm putting out fillers on the compound. Anybody seen the chain? Anybody seen the chain that look like this? Because people on the compound, they know JD. I was at Cross City for 14 years. People on the compound know me. Something gets sold, I'm going to know about it. They going to know that's JD chain. Absolutely, unequivocally. So check this out. Now, you know, I went to hunt my chain for that weekend because Monday the bus come and transfers take place. These dudes be out of here with all your stuff, canteen, everything. So you gotta be busy. Man, I couldn't for the life of me find out who could have got, because I stripped the room. It wasn't in there. Little did I know, Pretty Boy had got to my chain. I wasn't paying attention. I had to took this man to female. He was hot. He acted like he was. You know, because all the fellas was watching. But behind the scene, he was burning up. He said, I'm going to get this dude. And he got me too, boy. Because, boy, look at here. I cried like a baby. I was mad, boy. He got away with that. And I never seen Pretty Boy again. Never seen him. I bet he got my chain on right now. He got my chain on right now. So, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's so important to pay attention. What you doing? What are you doing? What are you all doing out here? Yeah. Hey, we trying to be redeemed, and we trying to be a king about the things that we do. Pay attention. Open up your eyes. Understand that, you know, without the senses that you got heightened to protect you, you'll fall for anything. You'll fall for any wind. You need to embrace who you are. Be a king about what you got going on. Be redeemed, baby. Listen, this JD shining out. And man, listen, I got all the love, all the props. Please like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'm out.